the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let's hear it. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. But it's one who respect around and behold, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let's hear it. Good for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's one who respect around and behold, ball game.
Hi, folks. Talkin' Baseball is back. This is season 11, episode 3. I think this is our 89th show.
89th show,
going back to the time when we were young and healthy.
Younger and healthier.
And we are broadcasting today from the Paseo studio. It may be our last time from the Paseo studio from what's going on in town, but at least this show is safe for that.
The show is still here.
And our support crew of Dan Seminator, John Dextrays, and Debbie the Truck Lincoln are behind us, always keeping us in line.
As well as they can. That's a monumental task to keep us in line.
Jason had a little problem this last month. He was caught in a forest fire. But he managed.
It's the 3 Mile walk on Memorial Day. What are you going to do?
He managed to survive.
Memorial Day parade. Got a little sunburn.
And he's back with a little different look on things.
Yeah. So. I was in the California fires, and
Well, this show is called Shrine or Museum. The big news in baseball of this week, this month, maybe this year, was Rob Manfred has lifted the ban on Pete Rose because he had a lifetime ban and Pete Rose died. So therefore, all the lifetime bans are lifted. And that included 18 other people who were banned for life, including all of the Black Sox. Mm-hmm. So what comes to mind immediately from everyone is Pete Rose is going to go in the Hall of Fame now, and so is Shoeless Joe Jackson. And who weighed in on this whole controversy but Donald Trump?
Donald Trump did.
Donald Trump says it's about time baseball got off its ass and put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's a political comment, not by us, by Mr. Trump.
Right.
So there's more to it than just that, though.
Yeah, the thing is they have to get voted in by the Veterans Committee, which is always a dicey proposition. As you know, I think, how many are there on the Veterans Committee? 16.
12 out of 16.
Right, 12 out of 16 have to vote for it. And I can tell you right now, with the current 16, that is never going to happen. Never.
It's interesting how they make up the 16. I think half of them are former players.
Half are former players, and then and then the rest is executives and just people who are involved in the game somehow.
I think there might even a couple broadcasters.
And I think there's an umpire actually too. I think there's an ump and some broadcasters.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone like one of the old Red Sox broadcasters.
Oh yeah, somebody like somebody like
Peter Gammons,
like Vin Scully when he was alive, or somebody like Peter Gammons.
No,
sure.
Vin Scully's
not Vin Scully, not anymore. But so yeah, it has to be 12 of the 16, and you can tell right now that baseball and the fans and everyone involved is pretty much split down the middle whether they would allow Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame or not. It's pretty much 50-50. And that gets to the crux of our argument about what the Hall of Fame actually is.
Why would you say it's 50-50?
Because there are some people that say he gambled on baseball. That is a cardinal sin. Number one thing you do not do in baseball is bet on your team. He deserves his ban forever. And then the other half say, he's the all-time leader in hits, and a baseball Hall of Fame isn't a baseball Hall of Fame if you don't have the guy who is the all-time hits leader.
Right.
So it's sort of the ultimate personality versus on-field argument is what's taking place here.
Well, I don't know how many times we've said that. Is the Hall of Fame a shrine, a holy shrine for the greatest of all greats? Or is it simply a museum we can go and see all the people that performed well?
Yep.
That's the crux of it.
Yep. To us, it's a museum. It's a museum. It's not some sacrosanct shrine where only the top 0.0001% of the players who ever played get into. It is a museum of the history of the game.
Right.
And in my eyes, no history of the game is complete without Rose or Jackson, or for that matter, Clemens or Bonds or Palmeiro or Manny or A-Rod or any of those guys. Right. It's a history of the game. If they weren't in it to make money, they wouldn't charge admission. Let's put it that way. If it was just a shrine, it would be free. Let's put it so.
Yeah, I don't know of any shrine you have to pay to see.
No, you really don't. No,
actually, I found one where Thomas of Becket was killed in England. You had to pay 30 pence to take a picture of his blood. That's true.
Really?
That's true. It's on the altar. There's blood.
Well, nobody bled in the Hall of Fame that I know.
It's been there for 800 years, but.
Yeah, and the ultimate, and when you walk in, talk about it's not just it's a museum more than a shrine. You have on the wall, right when you walk in the Hall of Fame, there is a baseball card or picture of everyone who's ever pitched a no-hitter in the history of the game.
Right.
And there are some real nobodies on that no-hitter wall. Trust me, even I said, who the hell is he?
I'll tell you the one I think of most, Bobo Holloman.
Bobo Holloman.
He pitched 3 games total, and one was a no-hitter.
Yep.
Bobo Holloman.
My favorite.
You folks out there, if you've heard of Bobo Holloman, my hat's off to you.
My favorite ever is Mike Warren, a guy for the A's. I think he had 4 wins in his career, and he pitched a no-hitter on the last day of the season when the Angels were just playing all the scrubs and they didn't care and they were out of it. And he had his 1 no-hitter of his 4 career wins. So it's not a shrine of the best. It's a Hall of Fame. It's who is well known in the game.
And here's the ultimate hypocrisy in today's game. They advertise gambling on TV.
Yes.
They give you odds for what can happen, how you can win money.
Right.
For instance, it said if something like Devers hits a home run, you bet $1, you can win 20.
Right. Yeah.
If Travis Story gets a hit, you get $2,000.
Oh yeah, I'd get more than that if Story got a hit. I'd get about $50,000 if Story got a hit. But anyway, I digress.
But they set all these gambling odds up for you and promote gambling.
They promote gambling, but Pete Rose got a lifetime ban for gambling.
Well.
And I'm sorry. This is a guy who, like I said, all-time hits leader, was known as Charlie Hustle, the ultimate professional, was on the Wheaties box back in the day, was part of the Big Red Machine. Right. I mean, how do you have a Hall of Fame without Pete Rose? I'm sorry.
This week's sporting news has 6 complete pages on this problem.
But pro and con.
Yeah, pro and con.
Both sides.
Yeah, pro and con. 6 pages.
And tailing into that also is we've talked about Shoeless Joe Jackson before. Now, we thought he should have been in a long, long time ago. It's the proof of the Black Sox guilt is dubious at best, especially with his character. And
he's got the 4th highest average in Major
League
highest,
356. Yeah. And it was a power move by the commissioner at the time to throw all those guys out. And just as a bone to chew on, look up Eddie Seacott's stats sometime.
That's right.
You could make a case that Seacott is a Hall of Famer too. He was an excellent pitcher.
Well, they've all been dead quite a while.
Yeah, right.
Jackson died in 51.
Yeah, right.
But they decided not to lift the ban until Rose died.
Yeah. So for whatever reason.
Okay, enough on that.
Yes.
Enough. I hope you all agree with us.
Yes. and if you don't, well, let us know.
All right, we're going to give Jason's quiz early this time.
Okay.
And I have to admit, I stole this question.
Okay.
I saw it somewhere else in a different format, and I thought this was something that I'd ask early and have him answer late so you people out there can think what you might say.
Okay.
Okay? Which team in each league comes from the least populated state?
Oh, least populated state.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's think about that.
Okay.
Which team in each league comes from the least populated state?
Oh, that's a great question.
I'll give you a hint, it's not the Angels.
Yeah, yes, it is not a California team. No, that is cool. I will have to think on that one.
Okay, we'll have that answer sometime.
I'm gonna
you folks at home, don't use your phone.
Yeah, no Googling, please.
All right, time for news items, and there's been some. We decided to split news items with tidbits. Some is just interesting things that happen, and some are other things that we need to discuss a little bit.
Right.
So go ahead with the first news item.
First in the news, the biggest news item that's happened since the season started is that Alex Cora managed his 1,000th game with the Red Sox. That actually puts him, believe it or not, 5th all-time in Red Sox managers. It goes to show how long they kept managers in this team, right?
And what has happened since I took this note down, he's now number 4.
Oh, that's right. He passed Higgins for number 4. That's right, just a few days
Joe
ago.
Cronin, who was the player manager in the 40s, is number 1. Yeah. Tito Francona, my buddy, is number 2. Ruff Carrigan, who was back in the teens.
Yeah,
he was a catcher player too.
Yep.
And Pinky Higgins, who was a drunk and a racist and a terrible manager.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but he was buddies with Tom Yawkey.
Okay,
so,
here's a quick quiz question for you.
Okay.
Who was the longest manager? Who managed the most years?
Oh, the most complete total seasons?
Total seasons.
Oh,
one guy is so far ahead of everybody else. And I'll give you a hint.
You mean Red Sox or just
in any place in the major leagues?
In the majors history. Oh, Connie Mack. Connie Mack by a mile. Yeah.
Connie Mack, if you don't know him, folks, grew up in East Brookfield, 30 miles down the road.
Yeah.
30 miles down the road.
And he managed in a suit and tie.
Yep. And he owned the team.
Yes. Right. He did. Yes.
From 1901 to 1950, I saw him manage a game.
Yeah.
And he started in 1901 when I wasn't watching.
Well, no, we weren't watching. I don't think any of us were then.
50 years. Imagine that.
Yeah. And he did the ultimate. You know, people criticize the former Sox owner. I'm having a brain cramp about about building a team up and tearing it down. Dombrowski. People got all over. People get all over Dave Dombrowski for the ultimate build up a team, tear it down. Connie Mack did that about once every 10, 15 years.
He won 5 World Series.
He won 5 World Series, but he also finished last about 40 times.
That's right.
But he would build up this wonderful team, and then because he was the owner, he would just sell them all off. And the A's would be horrible for the next decade, and then they'd get good again and he'd sell them off. And he managed Ty Cobb's last season with the A's.
That's right.
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay, so the second one is, as I'm sure everyone knows, Tristan Casas tore his patella ligament, and he's done for the season and maybe done for his career.
So sad.
Just like that. That's the thing about baseball. There were 2 injuries, his and Bergman's.
Bregman's. Yeah.
You know how they got injured? They ran to first base.
Yeah.
They ran to first base, they stepped on the base wrong, and their career's over.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. And that's why we always say, take the money, players. You never know when your career's going to end. And it's sad because we know he was struggling, but there have been hints in the past that he could be a competent first baseman in the major leagues. And it's funny, there was this demand about how come they didn't have any backup first baseman ready to go. Well, guess what? No team does. No team has that's the one position where no team has a major league ready guy, skulking in the minors or sitting on the bench or something like that. You never have a good backup first baseman. It's just it's the one position on the field that teams don't prepare for injury.
And it's not easy to play.
It is not easy to play.
I obviously didn't play at that level, but I played first base for about 30 years, and it is not easy to do.
It is not. Nope, you can't just pick up a glove and go over there.
Especially footwork is critical in that.
Right, exactly. And so there have been some cries for improvement, but I don't really know where you get them from. I mean, everybody's saying, make a trade. Well, what team is going to trade a first baseman in the middle of May unless the Sox pay some exorbitant, prospect sum for it?
All the broadcasters saying, wait till the trade deadline.
Right.
And probably the White Sox will be out of it.
Oh, a lot of teams will be out of it.
Colorado might be out of it.
You're right. Well, and the thing is, if you look around the major leagues, first base is not a deep position right now. It's not like in the days of when we had Mo Vaughn and he won an MVP and couldn't even make the All-Star team because the first base position was so stacked. There are not a lot of good first basemen right now.
No, it's not. Well, next news item. Kristen Campbell was the Rookie of the Month in April. Unfortunately,
May happened. Unfortunately for him, the calendar turned to May. And
it's usually the other way around. I remember when Pedroia came up, he had a terrible April.
And then he found his footing.
He found himself. Yeah. This guy starts out great.
And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's overthinking or just the league figured him out maybe or something. I have no idea what happened. But he went from about 350 to I think he was hitting 080 in May for a while or some scary thing like that. We don't know what happened.
And the only other thing, I mentioned Bergman already, he's probably going to be out 2 months anyway.
Bergman's going to be out a while,
is the Orioles fired their manager, Brendan Hyde, 2 years after he won 100 games.
I can't believe that. Remember in 23 when the Orioles won 100 games and we were saying, this is a dynasty in the making here with all those young guys they had, and they had the #1 minor league system in baseball.
Yep.
And then 2 years later, they fire the manager and they're the worst team in the American League. They still split with the Sox, go figure. Grr. But they're the worst team in the American League, which I can't fathom when you look at that team and all that talent they have on there. How are they the worst team in the American League?
They don't look that bad to me.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, we're going to have a break here. It's time for an intro to the truck. Now, the truck started out helping us, just giving us cues on big pieces of paper that I couldn't read and Jason get them. But we decided that the truck should have her own segment.
All right.
And she started out just giving us pictures to identify. Then she's changed it to nicknames. Then she's added rules suggestions, and she's now started adding some comedy.
And now
so
some comedy.
It isn't just Jason,
yeah,
or it isn't just Sully.
It's
this
Sully.
comic.
It's comedy and point counterpoint is what it's turned into. So
here's
the truck.
this truck.
Hello, baseball fans. You know, we've been having such awful weather, and out in Chicago, it's been so foggy that the White Sox couldn't even see who was beating them. Anyway, so you notice I'm wearing a new shirt. This is the new City Connect shirt. You remember the yellow and blue ones? Well, this is this year's new one. I wonder what you think about it. It's supposed to match the monster. I don't know. Some people love it. Some people don't. Let us know what you think about it. So, I remember when I was a kid and I was collecting cards, and if you turned them over, they had the stats on the back. And one of the stats was CG for complete games. And the pitchers always had stats for their complete games, and there were always a lot of them. Well, last year was a record low of complete games, 26 for the entire year. And that beat 2020 when it was the COVID year. There were only 29 complete games. So that got the truck to thinking, maybe we should start rethinking pitching. And maybe we should start thinking about when pitchers get wins. Now they have to go 5 innings to get a win. I'm thinking maybe we should change it so they only have to pitch 4 innings as a starting pitcher to get a win. Because now, if the starter doesn't get 5 innings, the winning pitcher is determined by the relief pitcher who is deemed the most effective in the game. And that's not fair to the starter. So anyway, I'm making a proposal. The starter should only have to go 4 innings. See what you think about that at home. And now here's the quiz for the boys. We're doing nicknames for Pete, which is the 50s and 60s, Pumpsy. And the real question is, do you know his real first name? And for Jake, Steamer. And see if you can get those at home. And always remember to go Sox and keep on trucking. Bye.
Okay, now.
That's a good point.
I am on board with that.
I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah.
She mentioned that last year there were only 26 complete games in the majors. That means 26 teams had 1,
And 4 had none. Yeah,
0.
right. I don't think the Sox had any last year, did they? I don't think they had any.
I don't think they had any 7-inning games. But just for the heck of it, I picked up a card this morning, 53 Robin Roberts, 33 complete games.
Yeah, right. Completely different era.
A whole different era.
And
the 5-inning rule has been in place since 1901.
Right, in which
when it was a different game.
Yeah, and the game's evolved in 125 years. It's all about running guys out of the bullpen and keeping arms fresh and keeping guys that throw 100 coming in inning after inning. And starters, when starters go 6 innings now, that's considered a quality. That's a miracle when they go 6. That's a strong start.
That's right.
You did your job. Go 6.
So we're all in favor of this 4-inning rule.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the team's ahead, obviously.
Oh yeah, right.
But if you start out and the team's winning 5-0, they pull you, and then they give the win to some guy that comes in and finishes up.
Yeah, right.
Or 4 guys that come in.
Right. It's a scorer's decision at that point.
Scorer's decision.
Well, you know,
what does that mean?
Well, the thing is, you know what? I would actually take it a step further. If you're going to have the scorer's decision in that instead of the 4 innings, why not just have the scorer's decision every time? Why not do that? Have the official score
Who
look
pitched
at
best?
Right. Who pitched best in the game? That's who deserves the win.
That's cool.
You know, I'd be on board with that. The official score picks
Not
the
the
winner.
official score. The shredder.
The shredder, yeah, the
Have
shredder.
the shredder do
The
it.
shredder should. By the way, tangent about that. I had one of my longtime baseball questions answered a couple weeks ago.
What was that?
I brought up on the show, if you remember, does the guy who finishes the game at 3 innings automatically get the save because he pitched the last 3 innings?
Yep.
What if he was the best pitcher? Are you still going to give him the save, or does he deserve the win? It actually happened. I think it was the Mets. The starter went 4 innings. They took him out, I think, because he got injured. The next guy pitched 1 inning to get through the 5th, and the last guy pitched the last 4 innings.
Really?
4 shutout innings. They gave him the win, and they were ahead the whole time. So that answers my question.
Huh.
You do not automatically get the save, even though if you're the best pitcher and you finish the game for 3 innings. I've never seen that happen before, and it just happened. So go figure that one out.
Well, the truck gave us some quizzes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
My quiz was Pumpsy. Pumpsy was the first black player on the Red Sox. Came up in, I think, 59. And he was the Red Sox, the last team to have a black player.
Right.
He was an infielder that was mediocre at best. Played a couple of years with us, and I think he was traded somewhere. I don't know where he went after that. But his real name, since I was asked, is Elijah.
Elijah, yes.
Elijah Green.
Elijah Pumpsy Green. And that's probably, if you're going to look back on the Yawkey ownership, that is the biggest criticism you could have of the Yawkey ownership. Is not it's pretty shameful not signing a black player until 1959.
And he was well received in Boston.
Oh, of course he was.
It wasn't go through any Jackie Robinson stuff at all.
Right.
Nobody, I can remember, I saw a lot of games. That's when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of games. They never heard a sound against him.
Right.
Partly because he wasn't very good.
Right. He wasn't Willie Mays.
No, he wasn't Willie Mays. And I don't know why he was called Pumpsy. I don't know that.
Well, maybe that. If anyone out there knows why he's called, if he has any relatives out there watching,
see all those phones being lifted out there?
Yeah, they're lighting up as we speak. Yes. So my nickname was the Steamer, and the Steamer was Bob Stanley, who was. Talk about a guy who was underappreciated in his time in Boston. You know, towards the end of his career, they say, the Steamer, he stinks. Stanley was a hell of a good pitcher in his prime.
He was there a long time,
Yeah,
too.
I remember he had 1 year out of the bullpen. He was 15-2, and he pitched enough innings to qualify for the ERA title. Imagine that as a reliever. He pitched over 160 innings. And he wasn't like the 1-inning reliever they have now. They'd bring him in and he'd pitch 2, 3, 4 innings and finish the game. And he had the palm ball, which is just grounder after grounder after grounder.
Right.
And towards the end of his career, obviously, he slipped a little. I remember they put him in the rotation 1 year at the end of his career, and it was just a disaster. But in his prime, the Steamer was pretty damn good. And then, of course, people mention him when it comes to the '86 team, kind of unfairly, I think, because apart from that one batter, he was fantastic that entire postseason.
Yep.
He was in 6 of the 7 World Series games and didn't allow a run. So I think. I know he's in the Sox Hall of Fame. He's probably, you could make an argument, probably he's up there in the top 5 relievers they ever had for sure. Spent his whole career with the Red Sox too.
I have a little personal story I got to tell about this.
Oh, yes, yeah.
There's a place up in West Towns called Yee's Village. And I used to go up there frequently for refreshments. And the owner of it used to own a Chinese restaurant on Route 1. I think it was in Saugus. Anyway, as soon as he found out I was a baseball fan, he says, Steamer? Steamer, he come to my place, have 14 Mai Tais on his birthday. 14 Mai Tais.
14 Mai Tais?
He was there 12 hours, but he had food. He told me that story
14 Mai
every
Tais?
time I went to
Oh
that
my
restaurant.
God.
The
How do you-
steamer showed up.
How do you have 14 Mai
He was a big
Tais?
guy.
I guess so.
He was there 12 hours, but he had food.
But he had food, so that absorbs the
makes sense.
alcohol. All the rum went right into the chicken wings, I guess. Oh my God.
I love that story.
14 Tais. Well, goals in life, people.
Okay, now we finally got the tidbits.
Tidbits.
After all
These are
this.
cool little things that happened, or just little oddities that happen in the course of a season. Because we've said 100 times, you never know what you're going to get when you watch a game. Something that's never happened before.
Well, it's my favorite one that happened in a long time. Jared Duran stole home. Straight steal of home. First steal of home since Ellsbury in 2009.
Remember that one?
16 years, so here's the clip.
And a line drive. That'll find Grass down the line all the way up against the wall. Narvaez into third. He will keep going. The throw is to third base as the run scores. And the Red Sox lead it 5-0. Jaron Duran all the way down to third.
Smokes it down the line for his third triple of the season.
He's coming home. Here's the throw. He is safe. A stolen base. He steals home. Jaron Duran steals home. It is 6-0. Well, with a lefty, they always have to be aware with a guy with that kind of speed at third.
Is that cool?
All right, that's
Is that
awesome.
cool?
That is so cool. I love that. Let's see more of that. I love it.
Let's see. Romy Gonzalez stole home the next day.
Right, the next
But
day.
it was a double steal.
It was
so
a
it
double
doesn't count.
steal. That's
Doesn't
not
count.
quite the same thing, but that is a double steal.
Tell them Crochet.
Well,
one.
Crochet, if you're watching this game, Crochet got clipped by a line drive and it hit him right in the nose.
He saw the ball coming
there it
toward
is.
him.
There it is.
So turned sideways.
He sort of turned sideways
and
and just
nicked his nose.
Yeah, and
He
started-
missed by 1 inch of being uncrocheted.
And he just kind of bled some and wiped it off with a towel and just kept pitching. And they left him out there.
I know what else
but
he could
imagine
do.
imagine the odds of clipping in the nose on a line drive right by and to have the instinct to just get out of the way like that when it's coming at you. It's extraordinary.
What else we got?
Oh, this one. Okay. We have said many, many, many times on this show, we are fans of the automated strike zone. Now, Exhibit A, you're going to see on this video, when Walker Buehler threw a dead strike right down the middle, and the ump missed the call. Now, I don't know whether he was blocked by Narvaez. I don't know whether he just missed the call, but Walker Buehler had a conniption on the mound. But here's the thing. That's on the umpire. Estabrook escalated that. So we'll give you 1 second to watch.
Yeah.
Bad year. Runner goes. Here's the throw down. Here's the tag and safe. Lindor with the theft gets into scoring position. Buehler getting after it with Estabrook, the home plate umpire. Narvaez out there to push him back. And he's thrown him out of the game. Estabrook has run the Red Sox starter. Walker Buehler has been thrown out. And Cora out now.
The problem is that pitcher, Estabrook called it a ball. He's a veteran, he's been around. You can't get thrown out here in this third inning.
Cora has been run too.
All right, and we're back. And we're back. Now, see, that's bad for a lot of reasons. First of all, automated strike zone, that is clearly a strike. I mean, it's right down the middle. And second, that's not Buehler. Buehler had every right to complain about that pitch. That's one where the umpire just needs to say, hey, I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm a human being, and get back behind
He
the
got
plate.
aggressive. He walked down in front of the plate.
Right,
as
he
you can
walked
see.
out, took his mask off, and started yelling back at it. And the thing is, they will eject you. The rule is they are supposed to eject you automatically if you leave your position.
Right.
Well, how come the ump gets the right to leave his position and go yell at the pitcher and walk halfway out to the mound rather, and instigate things? And actually, this was amusing. The aftermath of that is that Cora went and destroyed the bullpen phone in the dugout after that. He went in the dugout because the Sox bullpen had been fried the day before, and he was looking to get innings from Buehler, and he got thrown out in the third inning.
Remember when Ortiz did that?
It was the same thing when Poppy took the bat to the phone. Cora beat the hell out of the bullpen phone, and somebody hit a homer later in the game, and they held up the phone, and they were high-fiving the phone as they went by for the home run. So
Baseball's great.
yes, I think they should make that a thing. Instead of the Wally mask, just hold up the phone and they high-five the phone on the way by.
And our last tidbit has to do with Rafi Devers. He hit his first walk-off homer on Sox had been down by 5. A walk-off homer on May 17th. The next day, he hit the first Sox grand slam in 2 years.
In 2 years, yes.
And he hit another grand slam off a position player 5 days
and he
later.
had 8 RBIs in one game. Hey, it's still a grand slam in the books, folks.
right.
So, we actually do have one more other tidbit here. We talk about the relievers always pitching over 100 miles an hour.
That's right.
On May 7th, Chapman threw a pitch that went 103.4 miles per hour. Fastest pitch in the majors so far this year.
That's right.
Now imagine, you've seen clips about how hard it is to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, whatever. Imagine 103.4 coming at you.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Pass.
So that was the fastest pitch in the majors this year, 103.4.
So there's a lot of cool tidbits during this period.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But this was not cool. Something happened in Cleveland. When Duran was playing, he came up to bat, struck out, and as he walked back to the plate, back to the dugout, a fan came running down to the front row and said to him, "You ought to have killed yourself, if you had when you had the chance.
Yeah.
You should have killed yourself when you had the chance." He had seen the show
Right.
where Duran talked about his down period during 21.
Right.
Now, I'm all for heckling.
Yep. Right.
As a kid playing Little League, we used to say, hey, rag arm,
Right.
your mother
Yeah,
wears
right.
army boots, that kind
Right,
of stupid stuff like that.
Right.
And booing is allowed. But personal remarks like that
Yeah.
are way out of line.
Way out
There's
of
no
line.
other sport where you are as singularly vulnerable as you are in baseball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because in football, something does something, there's a team there.
Hockey, there's a team.
In
Basketball, there's a team.
But
right.
you're singularly out there by yourself, and you can hear.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of parks where they don't have big crowds,
Right,
you
like
can hear what's
Cleveland.
being said.
Yeah.
And that guy got a lifetime ban from the park.
Good. Good.
But
And
that is just so out of line.
These guys aren't machines. They're human beings. And they're human beings that have the same family problems and the same mental problems that everybody else in life has. And especially, think about the enormous pressure you have as a professional athlete. People always say, you're a professional, do your job. Okay, what other profession has another professional preventing you from doing your job?
And what other profession has one false step ending your career?
Right. Yep.
You are vulnerable.
Yep.
You're mentally vulnerable and physically vulnerable all the time.
In front of millions of people around the world.
That's right.
And everybody scrutinizes every single move you do. And people don't realize that, say, Devers strikes out. Well, Devers didn't do his job. Well, guess what? The pitcher did his job. That's how the game works. Somebody is always doing their job and somebody always isn't. It doesn't, baseball doesn't work that way, that only the team you happen to root for is doing their jobs. It doesn't work that way.
That's right.
And it's just, that's just something that's so uncalled for, especially with a mental issue like that.
Right.
It's really unfortunate. We're happy that this person got the ban.
Now, that was miserable.
Yep. And I don't blame Durant for flipping out. I don't blame him at all. Don't blame him at all.
Well, okay, it's by our script here. It's time for Stump Jason.
Okay.
Okay, now the question was, what team in each league plays in the least populated state?
Wow. Okay, so, well, in the American League, I would have to say, actually, is it the Red Sox in the American League? Or is there somewhere that has less than Massachusetts?
There's more. There's another one.
There's another one that has less than Massachusetts, huh? Is it? That's not Maryland, is it?
No.
No, Maryland has more. What would it be in the American League?
It's Wisconsin.
The Brewers in the National League. The Brewers are in the National League.
I may have to call them the Truck. I forgot the answer. It's the Twins.
Oh,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Is that
really?
Is that what state they play in?
Yes.
That's state of confusion.
Minnesota has
I'm in the state of confusion right now.
Minnesota has fewer people than Massachusetts. I would not have guessed that. Wow. And the National League, my guess would be Wisconsin for the Brewers, correct? Is that correct? No.
Truck is going to have to give us the answer, Truck. Just say it. Colorado.
It's Colorado. Really? Colorado
See, we
has
stumped
the fewest.
ourselves this time.
Wow. Colorado has fewer people than Wisconsin, huh? Oh, wow. Huh. I cannot imagine. Wisconsin has fewer people than, Minnesota has fewer than Mass, huh? Oh, real good then.
Yep.
Wow. That's
Actually, though, the Red Sox are New England fans.
Yeah, that's
so they
true.
really have six states.
That's true. That's true when you break it down like that. That's
you
true.
always think of it that way.
That's true. Huh. I'm just thinking, I just started thinking of the cities, but yeah, you're right. Outside of Denver, Colorado doesn't have anything major, and yeah. Huh. Interesting question. Huh. Cool.
Well,
that's
thank
a good
you,
one.
Truck.
Thank you, Truck.
That's what
for
she's
that
here
one.
for.
Yes, that's what the Truck's here for, yeah.
Well, now it's time for Fenway Memories. They never end. There's just memory after memory after memory.
Mm-hmm.
And my memory is something that has only happened, I think, once or twice since. One day they decided to allow the fans on the field. And the fans came out of the stands, lined the entire field along the walls, and all the players came out and made a circle around, taking pictures, shaking hands, signing autographs. And this, I think it was 2016, maybe?
That sounds right.
Somewhere around there.
Sounds right.
Poppy did not come.
Yeah.
And a couple of the top pitchers didn't come because they wouldn't get very far.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You'd get about 5 steps on the field and get mobbed.
So here's a couple of pictures. One with me with Farrell, the manager Farrell.
Yeah, John Farrell. Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Oh yeah, there you.
Can't tell which one's the manager, can you?
No, you really can't. No, you kind of look equal there.
And then the Truck, Debbie, was with the rookie, Xander Bogaerts.
There is. There's Xander as a
There's
rookie.
Xander.
Yeah, as a rookie. Wow. When he was number 72 still.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's so cool.
That he was on a pennant.
Yeah,
winning
and
team.
I only remember them doing that a couple times.
Yep.
I don't think it happened.
I think they did it again this year early on.
Yeah, but I
so.
don't think they had any of the big stars there. I think it was a lot of rookies and sort of bench guys.
I want to say there were all the coaches came. I remember.
Right. Yeah.
All the fringe players did.
Right.
I think some of the staff did too.
Yes.
But I want to say 2/3 of the regular team.
Yeah.
There's another picture that we didn't show with Brock Holt.
Yes, the Brock
The
star.
Brockster.
Yes, the
Brock Star.
Brock star.
So that was cool. But that was a good day.
Yeah.
And it happened that my niece and her husband were with us, and they were from New York.
Yeah.
The good part of New York.
The good part of
upstate.
upstate New York, right?
So they got a big kick out of sitting out there and shaking hands with the ball players.
Yeah,
So
right.
It's a great PR move.
It is, very much. And I think that's as a player. I think they kind of dig that too. You have to expect that as a player
course
that
they
you're
do.
gonna get fan
right.
interaction. Well, I went the other way on my Fenway memory. We were talking about how booing is sort of something that the fans sort of have a right to do. We don't think it crosses the line. It's heckling, but it doesn't get personal. So I was trying to think of the biggest boos I ever heard for a Red Sox player. And you could probably take a guess at who it is. The biggest boos I ever heard in person for a Sox player was the legendary Jack Clark.
Oh, yeah.
And if you remember Jack Clark, he was at the way end of his career. And brilliantly, somehow, Lou Gorman thought that he would make a wonderful DH because, all the Sox did then was sign aging sluggers. That was their MO. And his first year, actually, people forget, in Boston, was pretty good. He had a very good first year. However, his second year, he was cooked. He was a 3 true outcome player before they were really appreciated. He would have fit in very well in today's game. A lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of homers. But he came up I think it was early June he came up, and he was hitting about 160. And he had struck out twice and grounded to second once. And he came up for the 4th time in the game with 2 guys on and struck out again. And I've never heard the place boo a home player as much as Jack Clark got booed at that game. I believe it was 92, maybe? It was early 90s they signed him. And It was pretty deafening, and I don't think he played much after that. They kind of benched him and used him as a pinch hitter, and he was done after that. It was his last year.
As we've noted many times, he went bankrupt.
He went bankrupt.
He collected cars.
Yes.
He had something like 40 or 50 antique cars. Every time he got signed, he'd buy another car.
Right.
And he went bankrupt.
And he ran out of money because he bought too many cars. And if you've ever seen The Town, he's a punchline in The Town when they're stealing the money from Fenway. This is the biggest robbery of the Sox since Jack Clark.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that. So that's my Fenway memory. So if you can think of a time when someone was booed louder than Jack Clark, let me know.
I can't think of any.
No, it was pretty deafening. Remember that?
Yeah.
The place went nuts.
Well, a lighter note now. I think most people watch this show just to see Sully. They don't care about baseball. But
No, they just want to see Sully.
They want to see the comedy hour.
The
Colgate comedy
the
hour.
trials and travails of Sully.
So
The man of the street, the man of the people.
he's had a chance to spend some time with Angela and spend some time considering a rant that might be happening, because he spots rants pretty much daily.
Oh, well, hourly.
He has to select from multiple rants.
It's sort of the greatest hits of his rants.
That's right.
We get the best of the
We
best.
should actually put that all together
We should, the Sully rants, yeah.
So-
It'll be our Christmas special.
So hang on, here he comes. Sully!
Hey,
Sully, been looking all over for you.
what's up, my friend?
Hey.
Hey.
Couldn't find you.
Yeah.
A couple of baseball questions I had to ask you.
Yeah, I've been hiding a little bit, but I don't know if I'm in the mood. But
Well,
go ahead.
come
and,
on
go ahead
now.
and ask away.
In our last show,
Ask away.
you said that Cassis was going to have a turnaround and make a big splash this season. Cassis isn't going to make a big splash anywhere except in a diving pool.
Yeah, I think I kind of jinxed him. I got to keep my mouth shut from now on. You know,
That will never happen.
That's Sully luck. You know, that's known as Sully luck.
Well-
He talks about you and bad things happen.
You know, speaking of luck, the Red Sox have lost 16 one-run games.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing.
It's just not only bad luck, just bad play and bad luck together.
A little everything.
Just put yourself in the place of managing the Red Sox. You got the talent.
Yeah, I do. I got the talent.
Okay, so just give me a quick rundown of what you would do if you ran the current Red Sox.
What I would do, I would say, hey, let's get your butts in gear, guys. Come on. Let's act like you care. I mean, let's none of this moping around and arguing and stuff. Let's get into it. Get excited. Clap. You know, somebody gets a hit, go, yeah, good job, instead of, they moping around that they do. Come on. And you know what? Let's be honest. Let's have a shot before the game. All right. I mean, it worked for Kevin Millar, and he passed it around the clubhouse, and they played great for 4 games. I propose the Sully shot before every game. You get a nice shot of Jaeger, get it running through your system, warm you up on a cold night. You play better. You know.
I don't know if you heard, but Rob Refsnyder last night balled out the whole team saying just what you said. He must have been talking to you.
I got Rob's ear. He's one of the few guys having a good year. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe I slip him some Jaeger before the games. You never know. I know nothing.
Well, when I came in here, I was expecting my usual jolly Sully self. What's been going on with you and Angela?
Me and Angela are no more. Let me tell you what happened.
Really?
I took her to Fenway. I took her to Fenway. Her first game ever. She was in her 40s. I'm not going to say she was in her 40s. Never been to Fenway before. Red flag number 1. Okay, red flag number 1. When I was in my 40s, I used to be at Fenway 4 times a week. But I took her to the game. She knew nothing about the game. All right, I'm trying to explain to her. This is this guy. The 5th inning, a dude walks by and oh, who's that? And I recognized the guy right away. It's Mark freaking Teixeira. He went from the Yankees. Mark Teixeira was at Fenway watching the game. Now, and I said, of all people in the world that you find attractive, that you say, ooh, he's cute, Mark freaking Teixeira, the guy who turned the Sox down because his wife liked to shopping in New York, that's a bunch of bull crap. Boston has the best shopping ever. We got Dunks. We got Dick's Sporting Goods. We got everything. We got Jordan's Furniture. We got everything here. How the hell do you like the shopping in New York better than Boston? So screw him, screw his wife, and screw Angela, who went and chased him across the stands. We're done, all right? I hope her ankle bracelet defaults and they put it back in the clinker.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure Sully can find someone to replace her.
I got plenty of places that I can find my women. Trust me. Trust me. And sometimes they don't even have to pay.
Well, maybe we'll hear about the next one in the next show, but I'm sure before we sign off today, you've got something to say to the people.
Yeah,
You always have some great words of advice that baseball fans across this nation need to think about.
Yeah, you know what sticks in my craw. It's summer and there's traffic everywhere. Okay, people, you need to learn the meaning of the term zipper merge, okay, people? Because you get the people that try to, you got a lane here and you're merging in the lane, and there's this much freaking space because this idiot's trying to take a right in there. Zipper merge, you go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. They do it every other country but the U.S. How come they don't know how to freaking zipper merge in Massachusetts? I don't get it. It's the same thing with the rotary. You're in the circle, you got right away. You ain't in the circle, you don't freaking go till it's empty. I don't get it. I don't get it with these New England drivers. I'm telling you, zipper merge, rotary. That's my rant. Learn how to freaking drive, people, okay?
Well, I hope my zipper stays merged all the time.
Yeah, since Angela Sully's zipper's been merged too, let me tell you. Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, here you go, buddy.
All right, man.
And we'll
all right.
see you next month.
I'm going to go get some caffeine over here in the dunks. Man, it's good to see Sully. I mean, I feel bad about Angela, but I mean, knowing Sully the way we do, I'm sure he'll land on his feet. Now, whether those feet have ankle bracelets on them, we're not sure. But he will land on his feet at some point. So,
well,
and,
let's hope so.
Yeah. Oh, and we do want to give a general comment just in the last couple of days. Everybody's been really psyched about the Red Sox prospects that are on the verge of coming to the team. We have to give a welcome to Marcelo Mayer, who just made his debut a couple days ago, got his first big league hit in his second game. And he's sort of stuck in a position crunch because he's a natural shortstop, but they already have Trevor Story at shortstop. So
what happened? What happened was Bergman got hurt.
Right, yeah.
Instantly. The star of the team is down for at least a couple of months. Yeah. And they've been grooming 3 guys. They've been grooming
Campbell and Mayer and Anthony. Those were the 3 big
guys. They're grooming for future
and
glory.
Campbell made the team out of spring training.
Campbell made the team, and we've already talked about what's happened with him.
Yeah.
And when Bergman gets hurt, they go down. Bregman, whatever his name is. I told you I'm old. When he got hurt, they suddenly had to find a third baseman.
Right.
And so they have Mayer, who is actually a utility infielder.
Right.
But most of the time he has played short or second.
Right.
And they talked for a while about putting him at second. They decided to put Campbell there.
Right, put Campbell, yeah, right.
So they brought him up and put him at third base. And they make such a big deal when they bring up a rookie.
Oh, I know. He's going to be the savior of the team.
Not only just that, they bring his family in.
Oh, his family is always out.
So
in
his
the
family
stands,
flew in from California.
Yeah, they're out
and they
watching
got in
him.
there and they show him every pitch what happens. So Mayer comes in, first at bat, strikes out. Second at bat, strikes out. Third at bat, strikes out. So he had the sombrero. In his first appearance, they kept showing his dad. Going,
oh, no. He got the sombrero in his first major league game.
And the 4th time up, he grounded out. So he's 0 for 4 in his first game.
Yeah, and then he got a hit in his second game.
And then the second game, he got a hit and a double, too.
Right.
He got 2 hits, they lost the game.
No, of course they lost the game.
But they showed his dad being much happier.
Yeah, right.
It just cracked me up that he would strike out 3 consecutive times this time.
Yeah, it's too funny. They always send Jemai out to talk with the family and everything. Right. And it's sort of weird that the rookies or the kids that they're promoting, they put Campbell at second, but Mayer's position was already taken.
That's right.
And the outfield is already clogged, and Roman Anthony is tearing up the right. They bring up Anthony. Where are you going to put him? They already have. Outfield is not the problem of the team. Outfield is the least of their worries.
They want to put Durant at first. They don't want to do that.
No, I don't think so. And so it's funny about how you hype the rookies, but a lot of the time it's just chance when you get called up. It's not it's somewhat it's your ability, but it's where you are on the field. It's your position.
Remember when Boggs got called up because Connie Lansford got hurt.
Right.
He was going to be their third baseman for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And Boggs had been languishing in Pawtucket.
Right,
remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
Remember that? And Lansford got hurt. Boggs comes in, Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. And Lansford never gets his position back.
It's the Wally Pipp
thing.
The
Wally Pipp thing, yeah, right. But think about that. Think about, we would never know if the Yankees had a star shortstop in the making when Jeter played there.
That's right.
Because no one ever replaced Jeter. So if you were a shortstop in the Yankee system, you were clogged. You were stuck.
A lot of times, team will trade away their youngsters,
right?
Because they know that position is filled.
Right.
Except that if Jeter runs to first base
and gets hurt. Yeah, the ultimate one for that is people complain about the Jeff Bagwell trade.
Yeah.
You know, the Bagwell for how come they didn't keep Bagwell? Well, guess what? Bagwell was a third baseman and Boggs was there in his prime. Well, why don't you move him over to first? Well, guess what? Mo Vaughn was already a Pawtucket then. You're not going to supplant him. Bagwell with the Sox had no position.
That's right.
So it's just circumstance a lot of the time when the rookies get called up. So.
You know, last show had to get chopped a little bit because we went overtime. Yeah. I want to fill back in about the Los Angeles superstar.
Oh, Mike Trout.
No, not him. The new one. Ohtani.
Oh, Ohtani. Oh, geez, Ohtani.
Ohtani got cut from our show last
Yes,
time.
Ohtani did get
that
cut.
That was not censorship, folks.
No,
that
no,
was
it was
just
not.
cut for length.
Yes, yeah. So I think.
I think this guy has done more to promote baseball than any other single player in decades.
Absolutely. And I think it's unfortunate that here on the East Coast, the games are, we're in bed by the time the Dodgers games start for them. Well, unless you're an insomniac like I am. But I don't think people quite appreciate what Ohtani has done for the game in terms of, as a two-way player, first of all. Right. Came up as a pitcher and a hitter and excelled in both. And as an offensive player, he's bar none the best in baseball. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could argue Judge is as good as him at some parts, but and he's great in the field too. I mean, like Ohtani is just like the ultimate five-tool player who can pitch too. It's just an extraordinary athlete, and the hype that he gets, the revenue that he generates around the world as being the top player. Not only in the U.S., in Japan, in Korea, no matter where you go, everybody knows Ohtani.
Because we've said many times, baseball is a business.
It is.
And he is the best business promoter for baseball that can imagine.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing negative about him in any way.
Nothing
at all. He's always grinning.
Yeah,
He's never been involved in any kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
And he's a terrific player.
He is. He really is. And talk about, we always said it's a global game. Many Japanese players, superstars, I mean, there are a few, but he's really opened the pipeline for a lot of Japanese players to come over to the U.S., which is a good thing because you want the best players in the world.
That's right.
I'll take an all-Japanese team if those are the best guys available. I mean, God, it's he's a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, people, and I really hope that you appreciate what this guy is doing.
And you're right about we don't get to see him enough. That's true.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. Any West Coast player, Mike Trout, Barry Bonds. On the East Coast, we never got to see the West Coast guys excel, which is too bad.
At least they've changed it so we play every team now.
Right.
So within 2 years, he'll come to Fenway.
Right. And it'll be a sellout mob crazy show. But it'll be cool. It'll be great.
It'll be great for the scalpers.
Yeah, sure will be. Oh, yeah. Right. I mean, the Dodgers anyway are huge. Yeah. I mean, but God, that series is going to be insane.
Well, as we're talking here, the Red Sox are one game under 500. Mm-hmm. And they've been picked as one of the most disappointing clubs at this point.
They have been.
They were, as soon as they had picked up Crochet and Bregman, people said they're definitely a playoff team.
They're a playoff contender.
Certainly a wild
card contender. Sure, they'll be in the mix.
And they have just flooded around 500. They've had no winning streaks, no big losing streaks, but they never seem to be able to put it together.
No.
Some guys will get hot, then they get cold.
Right.
Like at the beginning of the year, Story was hitting well, and
Campbell was hitting well. And now they're both hitting terrible.
And Devers started out terrible, and now he's been
Durant started terrible, and now he's hitting well. So they can't quite jive. Or when they for a long time, the starters were the issue, and then the starters had a couple good starts, and it just happened that was the bullpen had a bad week. And the bullpen's been great all year except for like a couple games where the starters did great, and it seems like they just can't mesh.
Okay, there was big talk today. I watched the sports show this morning. Yeah. What did they do to fix it? According to the sports show, they need to stop playing old-style baseball and play new-style baseball.
Yeah.
Forget the three-run homers.
Forget the throw.
They're striking out.
Oh, the strikeouts are ridiculous.
You know why they're striking out? Because they're swinging too hard.
Because they're swinging for the fences. It's all they're trying to play with the launch angle.
And they don't have a slugging team.
They don't. If you have a slugging team, you can get away with that. Yeah. If you have a team of if you have a team of Judges, not to be the extreme, but Judge strikes out a lot. But guess what? He also homers a lot, and he also walks a lot. These guys don't do that. They don't walk a lot. No. They don't have a lot of power.
They're unlikely to have a 30-homer guy this season.
Other than Devers. Devers is their one power guy, and
Probably.
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, wouldn't you just walk Devers every time he comes up?
He's leading the majors in walks.
Of course he is.
Leading the majors.
Of course he
Devers
is.
is leading the major in walks.
Of course he is.
I'll say a third time.
Yeah,
Devers
Devers
is leading the major in walks.
majors in walks.
Are you kidding me?
And
He's learned the strike zone.
Yeah, right. And injuries played a big part when they lost Yoshida, they lost Casas, they lost Bregman. That plays a part in it. But it just seems like the bottom of the lineup has become sort of a black hole.
Yep.
The 6 through 9 guys mostly are just automatic outs. And don't get me wrong, you can have a guy like Raffaella on the team who's a defensive specialist if you have the offense to make up for it. Like for years they carried Jackie Bradley. Best defender I've ever seen in my lifetime, but he couldn't hit. But you had 7 other guys who could compensate for him not hitting. This team isn't made for that. If you want Raffaella's defense, you have to live with him hitting 230, and that's just not how the offense is built right now.
That's right.
So I don't know what they do, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you one thing. The biggest surprise is their new catcher.
Narvaez, what a coup he was to get. He leads all of the Major League Baseball in DWAR, not just catchers. Every position player he leads in defense.
I didn't even know his name for the first 10 games he played.
Yeah, and
the Yankees supposedly just gave him to us.
Yeah, and he's a great defender. He's a solid. To me, any offense you get from a catcher is bonus. I want defense if I'm going to put a catcher out there. But he's a good hitter too. Yeah. And even when he makes outs, he gives professional at bats. He works the count. He doesn't just go up there hacking.
He frames the ball great.
Yeah,
he calls
really
a good
does.
game.
He really does. Yeah, the funny thing is that the issues on the team right now are not the guys Breslow got. No. All the guys Breslow acquired are doing well. That's so you can't get on Breslow about his. He got Crochet, he got Bregman, he got Narvaez, he got the guys that are doing well.
That's right.
It's the previous regime's guys that are in place that are dragging the team down. Unfortunately, right. So I don't know how you fix that because it's hard to blow up a team without fan backlash,
especially not with primarily rookies.
Right? Yeah.
There's not many aging players on this team.
Other than Story's one, that's about it. Yeah. But who's going to take Story at this point? You're kind of stuck with him, and nobody's going to take Yoshida because he's hurt.
That's another problem. If you're paying a guy $30 million, you can't bench him.
Right? You have to play him.
You have to play him.
Absolutely.
The owners are going to say, "Hey."
Yeah. And it's funny is that sometimes signings just don't work out. Prior to this coming to the Sox, Story was the most durable shortstop in the majors. He played every day, all day.
He fell and broke his shoulder in the spring, and the season's gone.
Oh yeah, right, yep. And you never know what you're getting. Same thing when they signed Giolito. Giolito had never missed a start in 7 seasons, and then last year he's out the entire year. You never know what you're going to get. But I don't know what they do. I mean, they've been fortunate that there haven't been a lot of good teams in the American League. So if they go on a 7 or 8 game winning streak, they're in the race. Yep. They're a playoff team at that point. Other than the Yankees doing well and a couple other teams, most are 500 right now. So they're still in the mix. So they're kind of lucky in that aspect. But I don't know how you fix it.
So we'll see next month. Sully let us know what to do.
Sully has his pulse on the team.
So sayonara for another show.
That we will
Hope you enjoy seeing this rant and rave up here.
Yes, I'll have a little less sun on me next time. we do the show.
Stay out of the fire.
Stay out of the sun. Yes.
And thanks very much to Dan and John and Debbie the truck. They do such a great job
for covering our mistakes because we just wander all over. There they are right there. Yes, the MVPs right there.
Two great guys right there. If you see them in the street, pretend you don't know them.
It works for Sully.
So, till next time.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, folks.
If they don't win, it's a shame. But it's one who respect around and behold. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I ever get back that zero. Good for the whole team. If they don't win, it's a shame.